Money is the antichrist, or money is the beast system. Now, eschatology, end time studies, isn't that complicated if you know how things work, if you know how the creation works. So it's very rare that people define God as a creator. But once you start defining God as a creator, everything will start making sense to you. Start reading the Bible, and just every time God talks, remember he's the creator, and this is his creation. The creation story is one verse in the Bible, and then after that, it's his creation. Now, when I was a kid, I went out and planted trees with my family. We planted about 100 trees. Now, 30 years later, these trees are like 40 feet tall. So I know that it takes time for things to grow. So when we read the Bible, sometimes it doesn't make sense to us because it doesn't go with our natural reality. It doesn't go with what we think is real. The reason why is because the Bible is very poetic. Sometimes it's exact. Sometimes it's being specific. Sometimes it's literal. And sometimes it's figurative. Sometimes it's poetic. Most of the time, it's figurative. Most of the time, it's poetic. Now, the Bible people don't like that. They like to tell you what interpretation of the Bible is true, which one is right and which one is wrong. And there's lots of different interpretations of the Bible. The Bible as a whole is God's story from creation to recreation, to him coming back and retaining his creation. The Bible is told from God's perspective, and it's told from a perspective of God interceding in his creation. Now, it's hard to understand his creation because his creation's been stolen from us. They tell us the earth is billions and billions of years old, and it came from nothing to something, and now that something is magical and meaningful in the eyes of the scientists if you join their system. God's system is different. God's system, it said it was built perfect, and then we made it unperfect by separating ourselves from God. And it's hard for us to see that creation because things are broken here. And the way things are managed in this broken creation is through money. So in God's garden, he called it a garden. There were giant trees, there was fruit, and he said it was meat. The fruit had these proteins. There's either proteins or sugars. There's either fats or sugars in food. That's all there is. God's trees had these proteins. You didn't need anything else. You didn't need shelter. The trees provided it. There was an abundance of these giant trees. I'm saying trees as big as mountains. Most mountain ranges are just petrified trees. That's what we figured out. The creation has completely changed. And now the way that we manage this creation under man's ways is through money. When Moses went up to the mountain to get the 10 Commandments, when he came back down, his people, Aaron and God's people, were doing a money system. They were doing Baal worship. They were worshiping the golden calf. They were taking gold, and then if you get gold, if you create a system, and then if you get that gold, you are better than other people. What people don't understand about gold and silver is it's compressed rocks. There's flakes of it in the rocks, but you take it out, and then just like you make iron or just like you make steel, you add things to the rocks, and then you cook it, and you put it in a mold, and you have gold and silver. You can go on YouTube and see people do this with steel. They'll go out and they'll take rocks, and they'll grind it up. They'll put it in pans. They'll separate the different elements of the rocks. They'll add salt. They'll add granite. And then they'll take the sandstone, and they'll make a certain percentage. They'll make iron ore, or they'll make steel. See people do it on YouTube all the time. That's how gold and silver is made. They don't just go out and they don't just separate the rocks and then grind it all down and it's just pure gold. They add things to it. That's the trick. Gold and silver is made up. And then they get people to trade with their money system, their monetary system. Now, conspiracy theorists love the gold standard. I like the gold standard. Our Constitution says that gold and silver is money. There's no other money outside of our currency in the United States of America according to our Constitution. Now, in 1911, John D. Rockefeller, David Rockefeller's grandfather, and a bunch of other bankers passed a bill with Woodrow Wilson to be the only ones to print money. It's called the Federal Reserve Act. And then in 1913, they passed another bill to tax people's money. It was only ratified by 3 senators. So libertarians are really big into speaking against this and saying this is the problem. The printing of money is the biggest problem. And it is. And their whole system is a long play to get everybody onto a new money system. So they're going from gold and silver to fiat money to then just trading time. They're just going to put a microchip in you, and then you're going to just trade your time with them. But it will be under their money system. It will be a digital currency. And that's what the true mark of the beast is. They're going to take money and turn it into you're the money. You're the vessel. And it's just trading your time, because that's what it is anyway. And that's what we're supposed to be doing with God. We're supposed to be just trading our time with each other and to recognize God. And we need a symbol. We need a mediator. And if you use idolatry, if you use pieces of the creation, then you're doing it man's ways. And in the Bible, I'm going to read the verse and show you how this is the culmination of the money system then being turned into the 666. 666 is a representation of carbon. It's 3 parts of 6 elements of the carbon cycle that humans are made up of. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. It's just saying that we're carbon. It's not, I don't think the mark will actually be 666 on it. People, they might. And then the other side of it is, it says it will be on the right hand or in your forehead. I used to think that was symbolic, because Satanists and people that like esoterics, especially the other side of esoterics that isn't godly, they like the left-hand path, and they also like the all-seeing eye. They like the third eye, which is between your 2 eyes, your pituitary gland. It's symbolizing the center. And then the left hand symbolizing the other path, the other ways, the other teachings. The right hand path symbolizes power and strength and God and righteousness. They seem to like that. Now, I also think maybe biologically it doesn't work if you don't put it on your right hand. My left side transfers over to my right side. The reason I wear sunglasses is because my left eye goes dead on the camera. It doesn't happen when I'm not on camera. I don't have a lazy eye when I'm not on camera. At least I don't think I am. I do. I looked in the mirror the other day and I didn't. It's when I go on camera I do. So I wear the sunglasses because I can feel the energy shift over to my right side, and it bothers me and it distracts me. So I wear that, and it also like hurts my eyes. I can feel it lose power. I think as these microchips get rolled out, we're going to find out more about them. I don't think they work very well either. That's the other thing. I don't even know if they work. But the point is to steal God's creation. The point from the beginning of creation was man trying to steal God's creation. That's what Adam and Eve were doing. They were trading the truth for a lie. The truth for a lie is that you can have everlasting life without God, without God's system, that you can use God's creation to steal God's creation. And money is nothing more than just objects. It's nothing more than just rocks or trees. It's either paper money, which is terrible because then they can just print more and make it worthless. The reason I like the gold standard, even though I'm against gold and silver, I'm not against not having a money system right now because we're too idolatrous and people just want to steal from each other. So I don't mind having a mark. I don't mind having a mediator that's outside of God because people aren't worshiping God. I don't have a problem with that. God said, give unto Caesar's as is Caesar's. He said, until I come back, just do that system. But then giving one person authority just to print money and make money worthless, and then they're going to put a microchip in you and kill you if you don't get your microchip, and they're going to blame it on health problems to force you to take your microchip. Lots of religious people are going to take the microchip and not know it's the mark of the beast. There is a literal mark of the beast. I don't think it will say 666. And it might not be on the right side. It might not be in the middle of the forehead. You might be able to put it on different places. That might be symbolic. The Bible's sometimes poetic. It's 2/3 poetry. And it's hard to understand. You need something called discernment to understand the Bible. You need something called understanding. So I'm going to read it, and then you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. Revelation 13:11 through 18. Then I saw another beast rise out of the earth. It had 2 horns like the lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people, and by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast. It deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also, it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or on the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless it has the mark. That is its name of the beast, or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and its name is 666. So we already have a mark to buy or sell. We already have to use money to buy or sell, to trade. We have an all-seeing eye, which is a symbol of the pituitary gland, which is a symbol of, from the many one, it says also on the money. We can't get food, water, or shelter without using that mark. That's all money is a mark. This one is a digital mark. This one will be connected to your spirituality. That's the part of the 666. That's the part of the carbon. It's connected to your humanity. Whether you are religious or not religious, it doesn't matter. You're now connected to this money, and they can prohibit you from trading if they don't like your politics, or if they don't like your spirituality, or if you don't take it at all. If you just want to use cash, they're going to get rid of cash. They're going to have a cashless society and put everybody in microchips. And a lot of people have spoken out about this, and no one's done anything about it. The people that are doing things about it, the conspiracy theorists, drive me crazy because they're trading in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's connected to the Federal Reserve Bank, and Bitcoin is a digital currency. So they're going to create a digital currency, and the people that were warning you about this went ahead and tried to steal it from them and create their own digital system. They didn't create their own printing presses. They didn't create their own gold and silver networks. They didn't create anything, but they tried to steal the digital currency and become the leaders of the digital currency. They own no products. Products set the price for what things are. They own all the products now. The bank does. Who runs the bank? We can argue about that. I believe it's Rockefeller. I believe it's Buffett. I believe it's Buffett Rockefeller that's going to come back to life. But no one set up a system outside of this. This is what's so aggravating. They're trying to set up digital currency. They're trying to get you to trade in their Bitcoin. You have to trade through the Federal Reserve to get food, water, or shelter. You can't take a vacation on Bitcoin. You can't buy food on Bitcoin. If people say you can, then the people that are taking your Bitcoin are then cashing it out for cash. Bitcoin doesn't have a set price yet, so people don't like to trade in it. The Federal Reserve is not trading in it yet. And everybody is still on the Federal Reserve System. People are trying to steal it through digital currency, but they're just going to lose. They're going to lose out to Rockefeller. And then they're just going to bow down to him and take their chip, just like they took the medicine. Money in general is the mark of the beast. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's idolatry. It's stealing God's creation to make a great name for yourself. It's really simple. That's all life has become about, and that's what people traded for to not worship God. They just worship money. Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, dare to make it known, standing by a purpose true, heeding God's command. Honor them, the faithful few. All hail to Daniel's band. Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, dare to make it known. Many mighty men are lost, daring not to stand, who for God has been a host by joining Daniel's band.